Hello everyone, is the Prophet Michael David, aka Aries, and today we are going over my claim to be the Japanese end times prophet. Very much like my last video, the Chinese end times prophet video, the Japanese don't really have an end times prophet, but they do have OG prophets, gods, creation myths. And that's really what this is all about. So, here we go. The thumbnail of this video is of a goddess called Amaterasu, and that is the wiki for her. She's one of the three main Japanese gods. They were created from Isignagi, and before Isignagi created them independently, um, there was Isignagi and Isignami, but those are kind of like Guy and Azrael, so we're just dealing with the progeny. And so Isignagi independently created Amaterasu, and then who is the embodiment of the sun, Tsukiyomi, who is the embodiment of the moon, and Susanoo, who is the Lord of Storms. And I'll post the two wikis for Tsukiyomi and Susanoo right now. Okay, so real quick recap. Amaterasu is the sun, Tsukiyomi is the moon, and Susanoo is the Lord of Storms. And in a better way to think of Susanoo, think of him as Japanese samurai Poseidon. But in this video, we're not going to be talking about Tsukiyomi and Susanoo, just Amaterasu. And this is why. That flag is the OG Japanese flag, and it's called the Flag of the Rising Sun, just as Japan is known as the Land of the Rising Sun. But that name and that flag are for a specific reason, because that flag is a physical symbol of the goddess Amaterasu. And Amaterasu is the most important to the Japanese compared to her brothers, and she is that flag because just in the same way as the Qin dynasty united all of China, there was a Japanese emperor named Jiro, which united all of Japan, and he claimed to be a descendant of the goddess Amaterasu. And so all the emperors, including Jiro, and after him, up until the one that abdicated during World War II, although they did have some wars over this, I'm sure, um, if I remember right, but they all claim to be descendants of the goddess Amaterasu. Hence, she is their greatest goddess, and she is their flag. And that is pretty much the sum of it. So I'm claiming to be Amaterasu 2.0 because in this life, with all the Apollo references and everything and the wardrobe, I'm supposed to be the embodiment of the sun. And in my next life, and I realize I haven't told you guys the entire Elizabeth story because it's a full video, that she will be the embodiment of the moon. And yeah, and in both lifetimes, we have more than a little bit of Susanoo in us. And for some of the same reasons I described before, the Japanese are much more inclined to judge people on their deeds than their words, just like I said the Chinese were in my last video, which is true. You also got to remember that Japan is the only culture on Earth that's gone through a true apocalyptic event. They're the only people that have been nuked, not once, but twice and everything. And that happened less than 100 years ago. I mean, they're still, in a way, a broken people, that have not truly healed from that event. Although we're, to any of my Japanese audience, we definitely will talk about it. I apologize, it's coming from an American, but that's probably in the long run, the best person that it can come from, if you think about it. As far as not redemption, just understanding. All right. Um, my video tomorrow on New Year's Eve is going to be my last video of the year and the last one in my year of Jubilee. So, yay me. It's been a very productive but difficult year. It's going to be called the Earth Diver. And we're going to be going over, the very nature of God and everything. Because you got to remember, like, do you think Abraham is the first person that God ever spoke to 4,000 years ago? No. I claim to be a prophet of the last super cycle, the last time the stars were in this position, 26,000 years ago. Sometimes I say 24 to 26, average 25, because that meshes with the Milkovich cycles. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, tomorrow's going to be about the old days that humanity's never heard about because they've been lost to the sands of time. So, as always, rule number 1, do not touch other people without their consent, aka do not hurt each other. And rule number 2, it's all about honesty. Lies are ticked down. You'll have a great day. I will talk to you tomorrow, New Year's Eve.